Welcome back. This is Jason again, and we're about to start Lantern Year 3. When I start the Lantern Years, I start with a Settlement phase, Lantern Year Hunt phase, Lantern Year 3 Showdown phase, and then we start again with the Settlement phase at Lantern Year 4. So my Lantern Years always begin with the Settlement phase and end with the Showdown, just for tracking purposes. One of the things we forgot to do last time is I forgot that Zeus has a full set of rawhide armor. So he does have the full set of rawhide armor here, and the rawhide armor will actually allow him to re-roll any survival checks that he took. So he did use one survival, so we'll go ahead and roll for that now. And 3. So Zeus did lose that survival. The other thing we forgot to do at the end of that is to go ahead and roll to see that if he gets one of those special promo cards. This is a house rule that I use, and if he gets a Lantern 10, and that's adjusted by your luck, he's got zero luck. But we'll roll the dice, and on a Lantern 10, he's going to get one of those promo cards. So that's a 6. He does not. And so the white lion that we killed last showdown didn't have anything special. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is we'll go into the settlement phase. As you can see, I've already set up the settlement survivors return. So when you have a returning survivor, basically what you do is you'll heal all light and heavy injuries that you actually took. So I'm doing that right now. Off to the side, I'm erasing all the light and heavies. You also remove all the tokens, if you had bleeding tokens or whatnot. Okay, and I did write down on Zeus's character that Zeus killed the white lion, level 2, and we'll go ahead and move forward, which is gain endeavors. So all 4 survivors survived, so we're going to get 4 endeavors for the returning survivors. And if you remember, we took collective toil, and so collective toil is right here, and I'll read that to you. Your settlement leans into the storm. If everyone holds strong, you will triumph. At the start of the settlement phase, gain an endeavor for every 10 population. So if we look at our population, we are sitting at 14 population, and that means we get 1 extra endeavor. So my survivors will move on to the next phase, which is update the timeline. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll fill in Lantern Year 3. And with that, we will pull 1 settlement event. So I'll grab the settlement events from our box. We'll go ahead and give the settlement events 1 good shuffle. And again, the way I like to do this is I'll roll a d10 and we'll pull the 4th settlement. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this settlement event is Skull Eater. So we'll read Skull Eater to everyone. Randomly choose a returning survivor and give them +3 insanity. So we'll do that. We'll have Zeus be 1 and 2, Adam be 3 and 4, Eve be 5 and 6, and Athena be 7 and 8. We'll re-roll 9s and 10s. So it looks like Zeus. So it says this, give them 3 insanity. So that takes Zeus up to 13 insanity. If there are no returning survivors, choose a survivor from the settlement. So Zeus was a returning survivor. The survivor consumes the skull of a deceased survivor. They awaken a hunger that cannot be stopped and roll on the table below. They gain the following impairment, marrow hunger. Writing that down on his sheet. When the murder or Skull Eater settlement events are drawn, the survivor is nominated. So we're going to roll on this table here. And if you look on this table, again, high is always good. We'll go ahead and roll. I won't read every option to you. We're just going to roll, and hopefully we roll a 10. All right. 8. Well, that can't be bad, can it? This is Kingdom Death. Everything's bad. The other survivors redirect the Skull Eater's hunger. They may spend 2 endeavors to replace the marrow hunger impairment with the binge eating disorder. If they don't, add the murder settlement event to the timeline next year. Nope. So we're going to go ahead and spend 2 endeavors. Thank goodness we got an extra one. And we'll replace marrow hunger with binge eating. The reason I'm doing this is I really don't want murder on my timeline. Binge eating disorder instead of having an impairment. Binge eating disorder. Okay, well that's the end of the Skull Eater settlement event. And we'll go ahead and pull out the disorder. Which is binge eating. I'll pull it out so I can show you guys what it is. Okay, binge eating. Here you go. So eating is the only thing that helps you escape your miserable life. You cannot depart unless you have consumable gear in your gear grid. Well, luckily Zeus does have monster grease in his gear grid, so that is consumable. You must consume if a choice to consume arises. Okay, we'll go ahead and place that on the character sheet for Zeus until we actually have to draw another disorder, and then I'll shuffle it back in. But that's not such a horrible disorder. No disorder is good. Well, actually, there are some good disorders, but it's very rare. And we'll write binge eating on the tracker. Oh, not binge eating. We'll write Skull Eater on the tracker. Sorry. Skull Eater. And there's no other special events that actually happen. So that was the only settlement event. Okay, and that's the timeline. I don't think there was anything else as far as events that need to happen. I think that was it. So we're going to go ahead and move forward and update the death count. Nobody died. Check the milestone destroy events. Okay, and we really don't have anything else on the sheet. We have the death principle, but nobody's died. Conviction. Settlement does not have 5 innovations for the Hooded Knight. And that appears to be it. Okay. Then we will move the survivors forward one more space, and we get into development. So I've got all of the resources laid out here. This whole line, we've got 2 monster hides, 2 white furs, a lion tail, and tail feathers. We've got 2 monster bones and a great cat bones. We got sinew, and we got a broken lantern. What I always like to do first is go ahead and innovate. So we're going to do that. We're going to use 1 endeavor. We're going to use our organ. We're going to use a monster bone and a monster hide. So that'll give us the necessary resources. To innovate. And if you remember, we do have Symposium. So that is up here, Symposium. And Symposium is actually going to give us 4 draws with our innovation deck. We'll shuffle it up. And let's see what 4 we get to choose from. So I have storytelling, bed, drums, and paint. Well, if you remember from last time, I was really hoping we would see paint, because paint gives you dash. So actually that is the That is the one that I'm going to choose. So the settlement swells with creative energy. All survivors gain the dash survival action. Dash is once per round, spend 1 survival and gain an extra movement, up to your movement, and use it immediately. See detailed rules in the rulebook. Add paint consequences to the innovation deck. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pulling the rest of our innovations out of the box. Let me sift through here and I'll grab all of the paint consequences. Stand by. So we add pictographs. Face painting and sculpture. I believe that's it. I'm going to look through here just to make sure I have them all. And I do. Okay, and so we're going to add 3 new potential innovations to our innovation deck. And we'll just stick them in here randomly because we'll give it a good shuffle the next time we actually need to draw from our innovation deck. So we'll put paint on here. Paint doesn't give us any survival or departing survival, but I will fill in dash on all of our survivor sheets just to remind myself that I can dash. Okay, so that's done. We still have 2 endeavors, and we have all of this. So once again, I really want to make another set of armor. I mean, we have enough 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to actually make another set of rawhide armor, which isn't so bad. But I think what I really want to do is I need to go after the white lion armor. I don't need to, but I'm going to. So here we go. So we're going to use the Caterum, and the first thing is the white lion helm. So since we have the great cat bone and we have a white fur, I'm going to go ahead and make a white lion helm. And let's take a look at that. So the white lion helm is here. If I have a blue affinity and a red connection, I can use a survival, use an action and a survival to roar. All non-death insane survivors gain +2 strength until the end of the round. All other survivors gain +1 insanity. So I do have to use a survival and an action to do this. But it is 2 armor to the head, so we'll go ahead and build that. The next thing I think we're going to go ahead and build is, let me look at what these do. The skirt gives you really nothing. The coat gives you pounce, which is not bad. The boots will give you +1 movement if you've got connections of red. And the gauntlets will give you, when you pounce, you get +1 accuracy. So what's cheapest to build? They all require fur and hide, fur and hide, fur and hide, fur and bone. Let's go ahead and make the white lion coat, which is a fur and a hide. So white fur and a hide. And we'll make the white lion coat. Okay, so I've got 2 pieces of that armor. The lion tail is nothing but hide, and I really need white fur to do anything else. So I'm going to Think about this for a second. I've got a bone sword or bone blade. I've got a bow. I've got a fist and tooth guy, and I have a bone axe. So I have the weapons I really need. I could build a couple more pieces of armor. I could build a dagger. There's not really anything else I can get bandages that'll stop bleeding. I don't have ammonia yet. I don't have drums. I don't have heat. So I can't really build anything else off of here. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use these tail feathers as basic hide, and I'm going to use the lion tail as basic hide. And we're going to go ahead and build a couple more pieces of rawhide, just to give my survivors a little more survivability here. The boots will actually give you +1 survival when you depart, and so will the rawhide gloves. I could build the helm and the rawhide vest. That'll give me a connection, which gives me +1 evasion. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and build a rawhide headband and a rawhide vest. Okay, and that'll take those 2 hides. And what am I left with? I'm left with a broken lantern, which is scrap, and I'm left with monster bone. So let's go ahead. I will archive the broken lantern. On the settlement sheet. So we'll archive this into the box. And we have 1 bone left. Is it going to do any good for us? I don't believe so. I mean, I could build a bone dagger or bone darts if I want. I'm tempted to build the dagger, but resource is a resource. I think I have enough weapons as long as none of them shatter, and we're going to go after the white lion one more time, trying to get that white lion armor. So let's go ahead and archive 1 monster bone. Okay, and we'll archive that also. So that is it for development. We have 2 endeavors yet to use. We can go ahead and do augury, which could give us some understanding. We do have a broken lantern, which is useless at this point. We could augury, possibly giving our survivors survival or kicking off intimacy. Shared experience, we could give somebody else, one of our survivors, an extra hunt experience. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and augury. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pick somebody. The survivor endeavors to glean the meaning of existence. Roll on the table. Add +1 to your roll result if you have 3+ understanding. Well, nobody does, but Athena has 1 understanding, and Zeus has 1 understanding. We're going to go ahead and give it to Athena. So Athena's going to augury. Let's see what she gets. So we'll roll a d10. And it is a 9. So that will kick off the intimacy story event. So that's not too bad. Hopefully we can get another survivor and add to our population. So here we go with the intimacy story event. We've done it once before. Nominate 1 consenting male and 1 consenting female survivor and roll on the intimacy table below. So once again, we're going to go ahead and We're going to choose Apollo and Bethesda again. Or Bathsheba again. Bethesda. Apollo and Bathsheba. We chose them last time, and they actually created Thor. So we're going to go ahead and see what they can do again. So we're going to roll on the intimacy table. It's a D10. And we have Protect the Young. So when rolling on the intimacy story event, roll twice and pick one result. So let's go ahead and do that. So a 6 and a 5, we'll pick the 6. They're both the same. A survivor is brought kicking and screaming into the world. The child's eyes are free of the ink that stained the founders' faces. The settlement gains +1 population. So we'll make that a female. She was born in Lantern Year 3. And make it a population of 15. And we'll put, we'll name her, and we'll name her Ra. Okay. Okay. And that's that first augury. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have Athena augury again. Let me take a look on the sheet. All right, so Thor has 2 understanding. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and have Thor augury. I should have done this last time. Now, the reason why I'm having Thor augury is if he gets 3 understanding, we'll take him out. Because if you have 3 understanding, sometimes you can get ammonia for free from the hunt events on the White Lion. So we'll take the Endeavor. We'll have Thor augury. And we'll have him roll. Hopefully he rolls really low. A 6. Okay, so that's not really going to help us at all. A 6 is going to give him 1 survival. He's already got 4 survival, which is the max for our settlement. So that was kind of a waste. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we did not get somebody with 3 understanding. And if you look, we don't have endeavors. We don't have any more resources other than the ones we archived off. We do have these pieces of equipment. So now we're going to go on to prepare departing survivors. So we're going to take these survivors out again. I kind of want to take somebody else out and start spreading the experience, but I think I want to see how far these characters can actually go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Eve. So this is Eve's sheet. She's got leader ability, and we're going to go ahead and move Boneblade over here, put Rawhide here, and that way we have a connection. So she has 1 armor on every location except for the body, which is the one that gets hit the most. But, oh no, she doesn't have the body. She doesn't have a hand. So she has 1 armor on everywhere except for her hand. She does have a connection, so she's going to get +1 evasion. So that's why I'm giving it to her. Okay. And we've got these 2 pieces of White Lion armor. And I'm going to go ahead and give that to Adam. So Adam's using Fist and 2, so he's going to be up close and personal with the monster. He only has a cloth and stone noses right now. I can't really connect anything with these, so we're just going to put him on his sheet. And we're going to give him 2 armor and 2 armor. The only thing he can actually use off of this right now is the Pounce ability, which means he can spend both his movement and his action to move 3 spaces in a straight line. And if he does that and activates a melee weapon, he gets +1 strength. So not too bad. I'll go ahead and mark the armor down for him. 2 on the body, 2 on the head. Okay, and can't forget that he's got Pounce. So that actually is it for preparing departing survivors. If these 4 are the ones that are departing, then Zeus goes up to 4 survival because he has the the rawhide boots. He's also got the gloves, but he can only get up to 4. That's our settlement max. On arrival, Adam's going to go up to 4 survival, hopefully, if he doesn't lose any during the hunt. Eve is down to 2, but she does. Oh, they all get 1. I'm sorry. They all get 1 because I do have Cobble, which gives me departing survivors gain +1. So right now, Adam's up to 4. Eve is up to 3. Zeus is up to 4, and Athena's up to 3. Okay. And binge eating says I can't depart unless I have some edible, some consumable on my character, and Zeus does have monster grease, which is consumable. And so we'll go ahead. There's no special showdown. Archive resources and record them. I did that. And end the settlement phase. So this was a quick video for the settlement phase for my Lantern Year 3. When you see me again, we're going to go ahead and go into the White Lion hunt. So I'll set that up for us. And I will see you next time. Thanks.